So one of the critical things in this assignment and in map making in general is being able to show like gradations of things and show importance and visual hierarchy in your map. So in this, what we've already done so far, there's already some visual hierarchy things. We've got more important roads as thicker lines. So line width is a variable that you can use to show visual hierarchy, and we'll get into some more of that a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to just show you how to change our line work a little bit and do some more interesting things with it. So the trails in here are shown as red lines, but trails are more traditionally shown as, or walking routes even, if you're showing your trip to school or trip to your friend's house or something. You'd want to show that as maybe a dashed line or a dotted line. So how do we do that? And in the first video, when I told you guys to set up your panel here, there is one more panel that I forgot about that's called the stroke panel. And you can get it by clicking Window, Stroke, and then it shows up. When it shows up initially, it'll probably look like this, and it only has a weight feature. But if you click Show Options, then you get a host of different things. So this is right here, you can see dashed line. This is how we make dashed lines. So let's select all of our trails. So I hit, just clicked it, and then if you hold down Shift, you can click the, oops, I don't want to select that. You can shift click the things that you want. If you click something that you don't want, you just shift click it again, and it deselects it. And remember, to get to your selection tool, you press V, or click the little black pointer up here. So now that those are selected, we can click on dashed line. And look at that, we're starting to get a little bit of stuff in here. If we wanted to make it a dashed line, you can choose how long your dashes are. So we could do 1. If you delete this third one, you can just do, I'm going to zoom in by holding down space control and then clicking and dragging, remember? So these are still all selected, so just so we can see what we're doing a little better. So we have 1 point of the stroke and then a gap, and so you can manipulate that how you want it. For this, I'm going to actually do 0 point, and that's going to turn it into dots rather than dashes. And you can make it either a blocky line. So if we change this back to 1, you can see that this is these little rectangles now. But if you want to make it circles, you click round cap. And then I'm going to go back to 0, so we get the dots again. I'm going to make the stroke a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to make the gap a little bit bigger. Okay. So that's how you do dashed lines. And there's a bunch of things that you can play with in there. Another thing is, what if we drew a line and it's too detailed? You want to smooth it out, or it's got some hard edges. How do we do that? There's a couple ways. So the first one is the smooth tool. And the smooth tool is really handy. The way that you access it is by holding down on where the pencil tool or the pen tool is. Is that it? It's not showing up for me anymore. But if you ever find it, if you're ever looking for a tool that you don't have up here, like this case, you can actually find it by clicking Edit Toolbar, and then finding right there is our smooth tool. So you can just click it once to use it, or you can drag it onto, I'm going to drag it up to the pencil, and then it's going to add it to this dialog. So now that that smooth tool is selected, I'm going to close that. You just draw over, I guess you have to select a feature first. So I'm going to press V, and I'm going to select a path. And then I'm going to go back to my smooth tool. And I'm going to, you see how I can, I can draw over things. This is already pretty smooth. But if you have too detailed, you can use the smooth tool, clicking and dragging, to adjust that. I don't find it that useful all the time, but sometimes if you have a really bumpy, detailed line, like for example, I'm just going to draw, I'm going to click N and make a new line. Oops, here, let's make just a little, okay, let's say that was too squiggly. Now if I want to smooth it out, I can go hold down on that, go to the smooth tool, draw over it, and smooth it a little bit. See, it's not working that well for me, but you can see that it adjusts it a little bit. And it's starting to get a little smoother. If you want to manipulate it more directly, there's actually a tool called direct selection. So remember when we've been pressing V or selecting the black arrow, we're able to move a whole shape at a time, right? What if we want to move just one vertex of that shape at a time? Well, that's called the direct selection tool. And that's what this white arrow is. You might have been wondering what that was this whole time. If you click that, then you see that there's these little dots, and those are the vertices of each shape, and you can manipulate them all individually. So if you select one of them, then you can drag it. Oh, look at that. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. So you can manipulate your lines very finely with the direct selection tool. You can also, when it's a curve like this, you can drag these handles out to change how the angle and stuff. So to get to the direct selection tool, you either click up here, remember, or you can press A. So V gets you to the normal selection tool where you can move whole shapes at a time, or A gets you to the direct selection tool where you can move single vertices at a time.